We have now filtered all of our collections, so we have 10 from each of the brokers, so in total we have 40 EAs. What we have to do now is put them on the chart. There are a few things that we need to do before that though, and the first thing is I like to change the way my chart looks. I prefer to have a different color scheme. Of course, this is just personal preference, so you can do it any way you want. It doesn't make any difference to the trades. They'll still open and close at exactly the same time and exactly the same way. This is just about the appearance and the way that I like my chart to look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here on the chart. I'm going to select properties. Then on color scheme I'm going to go black on white. For bar up I'm going to change it to blue. And for bear candle I'm going to change it to blue as well. Then I'm going to go to common. I'm going to make sure that show grid is unselected, and I'm going to make sure that candlesticks is selected. Then I click OK. What you can see is that there's still this red line on the chart. This is an indicator. This is a moving average indicator. We don't need it. These indicators are used more for manual trading. All of our indicators are programmed into our EAs, or all runs in the background, so they don't need to be visible on the screen. In order to get rid of it, all I'm going to do is right click on the screen again. I'm going to go to indicator list. As you can see here, moving average, so we just highlight it, click delete, and then click close. There we go. Now I have a nice clean screen, and this is the way that I like to look at it. The next step now is to click on File, Open Data Folder. From there we're going to go to MQL4, Experts, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to take all of the expert advisors that we have downloaded from the platform. This is all 40 of them. The 10 from each broker that I have selected. I'm going to highlight all 40 of them. As you can see, 40 items selected. Copy and paste it into my directory. There we go. Now all 40 of my expert advisors are in my programs folder. We're going to close that. Can get rid of this. We don't need this now. And then what you'll see is on the left here in the navigator window, we have one menu that says Expert Advisors. All we do is right click on it and click on Refresh. Now this will take a little bit of time. Basically what's happening is that all of our Expert Advisors that we placed into the directory are being compiled by the program. What do I mean by compiled? Basically what it's doing is it's just running through each one of them, making sure there are no errors on them, and it is creating a file with an extension of ex4. That is our expert advisor file. And now all of our expert advisors are in the program. They are now available to put onto charts. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to save this screen in its current layout and its current parameters as a template. So every time I open a new chart window, it will open with the same parameters. Now this makes it much easier when you have expert advisors that are all in the same time frame and the same asset, and I will show you why. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select H1, the 1 hour chart, because all of our expert advisors are of course from the 1 hour charts. And that's very important. You cannot put an expert advisor from one time frame onto a chart of another time frame. You won't get the performance that you expect. So now that I have it on H1, I'm going to right click, templates, save template, and I'm going to save it as default. So I'll just highlight default. Some charts have it, some don't. If they don't have it, all you do is you just save it as a file name of default. However, in this case there is already a default, so I'm just going to overwrite it. So I select default, I select save. It'll tell me the default already exists. Do you want to replace it? I say yes, and there we go. Now's the fun part. Now we put our expert advisors onto the chart and we let them start trading. Make sure that auto trading is enabled, and we're going to start with the first one. Now there's two ways to put your expert advisor onto the chart. The first is to simply left click, hold it down, and drag it onto the chart. Once you drag it onto the chart, you'll get this window that pops up, and it'll just tell you a little bit about the expert advisors. This is the name of the expert advisor. It was created in Forex Software Limited. There are some comments here. So for example, long and short. So you want this expert advisor to open long and short positions. And under input, you have a few settings, but these were all already programmed when we downloaded our expert advisors. And this is just all the parameters for the expert advisor. The only thing that's really important for us in here is this magic number, and in the next videos you'll see why that is. So we just go back to about, and then we click on OK. Right, now what you'll see is in the top right hand corner the expert advisor is in fact on. It shows us that the expert advisor is here. This is the name of the expert advisor and the magic number and the smiley face. If there's a smiley face, it means that the expert advisor is working on the chart. If it's a sad face, so if I, for example, had to switch off auto trading, you'll see it goes into a sad face. This means that the expert advisor is not active and not working on the chart. So we'll just switch it on again. There we go. We have a smiley face and we know it's working. The next step to do is we are going to right click on the asset in Market Watch and we select chart window. What happens now is we get a second chart that opens. As you can see in the top right hand corner, there is nothing here, which means there is no expert advisor on here yet. So we're going to put the next expert advisor on. First one was this one that ended in 644, as you can see from the first chart. So on the second chart, we're going to go to the next one. This is the one that ends in 376. I showed you how to do it by dragging it on. The next way to do it, and this is the way that I personally prefer, but again, you can do it any way that you want to, is to just double click it. And then we press OK. There you go. You can see the expert advisor is on and it is working. Now all we're going to do is we're going to do this with the rest of them. So the next one we need to do is the one that ends in 338. So once again, right click on your asset, chart window, and double click it, press OK. Next one ends in 4445, right click, chart window, 4445, and OK. Next one is 5609, so right click, chart window, 5609. Now this is important. You cannot have more than one expert advisor on a chart. Each chart will have its own expert advisor that will open and close trades according to the conditions that have been set. So I'm just going to continue doing this until all 40 are on the chart, and from there I'm going to minimize my chart. Please do not close your chart. If you close it, the expert advisor will not work. So leave it minimized on your computer. Or alternatively, you can sign up for a VPS, which is a virtual private server. And essentially what that is that you get space on a PC at your broker. So essentially what happens is they reserve space for you on one of their virtual servers. You can install platforms on there, you can run your expert advisors on there, and that will run 24 hours a day. That's quite useful if, for example, you have power cuts or your power supply is not always guaranteed. Obviously, you want your stuff to run 24 hours a day so that your expert advisors can work 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Right, so next step, once again, as I said, we're going to just right click and we're going to go to the one that ends in 755. And we're just going to continue doing this for the rest of them. I'm going to do it on this broker's platform and I'm going to do it on the other three in exactly the same way. And in a week or so, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how they are performing, and I will show you how to analyze them in another software package. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed it and found the information useful, please like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified every time we upload a new video.